here we are, and I wanted to go ahead and start with just a quick introduction of each of us. I'll go ahead and start. I'm Jennifer Chance. I write paranormal romance and romantasy and urban fantasy as well. And the book that I have in this omnibus, which I now understand is what we're calling this, which sounds amazing, is Teaching the King. And it's a paranormal romance academy, but it is told from the perspective of the teacher, not the students. And she is an individual who is obligated by family law to teach magic to the King of the Fae. And about 100 years ago, her family decided they didn't want to do that anymore. And so they stopped. But now there's a new king in town, and he's not going to take no for an answer. And that's the story. So, Maggie, can you tell us about your story?
Yeah, I'm Maggie Shayne. I write everything except historical, and I've even done some ancient history, ancient Sumer and stuff. My story in this one is book one of the Portal series, Mark of the Witch, and it was totally inspired by the film Stigmata and that sexy priest, Gabriel Byrne. I just had to do a sexy priest. So my heroine is having nightmares of being sacrificed in some ancient desert land, dressed in ancient Middle Eastern looking clothes, and she doesn't know what's happening. Her hands are bound, and she's shoved off a cliff with two other women she understands to be her sisters. She wakes up with rope burns. And then this priest shows up in town in her life, telling her that he can help her. He knows what's going on and he can help her. And so from there, they're kind of on opposite sides of a situation. What she thinks she needs to do isn't what he thinks she needs to do. And so it goes from there. It's a lot of fun and I love it. That's all.
Hijinks ensue. Kerrigan, go ahead and start and tell us about your book.
Our book, I guess, we were just trying to figure out what it was. I love the word omnibus, but maybe like a round robin is kind of what we called it while we were writing. But it's just about four sisters who are quadruplets, identical, and they don't know about each other, and they were separated at birth because why not? And then, they kind of come into their powers at a certain time when like the seals are broken, and they have to battle the four horsemen of the apocalypse who happen to be pretty sexy, and it kind of turns into from opposites attract, enemies to lovers, and eventually becomes a fated mate story is what
Love it.
the elevator pitch.
Well done. Very well done.
I love that. And Cynthia, if you could feel this one, what was different about your heroine versus Kerrigan's?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is fun. So we each it was interesting. We each chose a different elemental witch that kind of spoke to us. Being something of an uber Pisces, I chose the water witch, whose name is Moira, and I have roots in Mississippi and Louisiana, and I wanted to write a water witch who is a bayou water witch.
Oh, I love that.
So, and I got to trot out all the sayings that I'd grown up hearing and stuff like that. That sort of down home flavor. She is one of the key differences. I'll let Kerrigan elaborate, but she's not what you'd call tech savvy. She was raised in a very small parish, raised by an uncle who she thinks is an uncle, and she kind of discovers her powers a little bit later in life, but kind of sees the thread that they were there all along in ways she didn't realize. But yeah, she's sassy, she's funny, she's very country.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Her favorite power of mine is that she actually provides sexual healing.
Yeah.
And kind of heal people through their erotic needs, and it's amazing.
That's cool.
So, Kerrigan, what about your heroine?
She's somebody I never tend to write ever. Okay. I just thought I was gonna go way out in the crazy with this one, but like she's kind of a like a tech billionaire she's the heir. I'm Gemini, so she's heir, and she's snarky, and she's kind of bitchy, and she's kind of like, I mean, maybe we're not that dissimilar, but like and she doesn't believe in magic. She's very logical. She's very atheistic, you know what I mean? And so when she fights the magic the hardest. And that is something that like Cynthia and I like do know, and like because that is something that, like, I was a hardcore, like, empirical atheist when Cynthia and I kind of got together as like BFFs, and so she's introduced the woo-woo into my life in tiny little sips. And so a lot of what we wrote was kind of a mirror of that, a little bit of like discovering the magic. And we also got to put a lot of our, like, I'm very Western, like I'm very California PNW, like Western type, and she has that sort of Southern genteel sensibility. And it's always been a thing that we razz each other about, because I'm like, I don't venture anywhere south of the Mason-Dixon line as a queer person, and like they you know, and so we always just, she's like, I've been like a part of our comedy for such a long time. We got to play with it on the page, and that was like the funnest for me.
Great. That's great. Actually, that kind of brings me to the first question. And Maggie, I'm going to pick on you to get started.
Okay.
So what is it about witches and witchcraft that you think has still like mesmerized and interested people after all these years, despite all the increases in technology and advances in science and things along those lines? Why is magic still, and witchcraft specifically, still so interesting?
I'm just fascinated by it. And I think it's because we haven't proven it wrong. We haven't proven that it doesn't exist. And things happen. I mean, people have experiences and things happen. And now, as science is advancing more and we're learning about the quantum realm and the way things behave on the quantum level, where once two things are in contact, they are forever more entangled. When something happens to one photon that has once been connected with another photon miles apart, the other photon reacts. So there is a web that connects us. We just don't understand it yet. And magic really is just kind of making the connections through that web, I think. And really, if you think of the world as kind of a projection, then what we're believing and projecting onto it is what it's showing back to us. And that's the basis of magic to me. And I'm a practitioner, so that's my approach.
I love it. I love it. Cynthia, what would you add to that, if anything?
What would I add to that? I think in the dynamic that Kerrigan described, where I was way more into the woo, like woo 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 woo, and as I would introduce some of these concepts, I would frequently say, and it's what I do believe, is that magic is just a word for science we don't understand yet, pretty much. That there is an ordered and like logical system, but that I always reference our little jelly brains too, in terms of like our capacity to feel confident that we understand the complete workings of the known universe when we can't even contemplate its size or what's in it. I think the mystery of that, the intrigue of that, I think there's something really essential in all of us human beings as we try to understand our place in this vast system and what power we do or don't have to affect it or be affected by it. And so this idea that there are those who are more in touch with their ability to affect that system and to bring about desired outcomes and change and to create, I think is something that is a core fascination for humans, for people.
Love it. I love it. So Kerrigan, as you've kind of come along step by step, do you believe that magic is real now?
I don't know, but that's a big thing for me. I don't know. To be able to be like, I don't have to reserve judgment. I can play with belief. I can play with the connection. You know what I mean? And it used to be like, I used to very much feel, I'm autistic, so I can be very literal. I can be very like, you need to make it make sense, and if it doesn't make sense, don't go there, because that's how the bad things happen, and the Christianity and the witch burning and the, you know what I mean, like, and all of the things that we do, like, it's because we don't trust truth. And so it's really important to me to have a good relationship to truth. However, the feminine intuition, the web that we have, the convergences that happen, the things that are unexplained, you don't have to shove God in those gaps, kind of thing. But I think it's really great to try to play with the traditions of the people that are being proven right by what Maggie was talking about, right? Like Chief Seattle said, all things are connected. We are all in the web of life. Like, And if we decided to live our life that way and to truly believe that, we would be in sync with like the magic, the world, the essence, whatever it is. And so I believe that with all of myself. And what that looks like, I'm not sure, but I like to try to reach for that with this tradition because it feels the best to me.
I love that. I love that.
And it's women centric too, so that's like
yes. Yeah. And why do you suppose that is? Like, why do you suppose? I mean, there are obviously male witches, but why do you suppose it is very much the province of women? We will start with Maggie.
Oh gosh, you're getting me. Okay, I think because there's no female image of the divine in most of our mainstream religions today. There used to be, it used to be a lot, but today we always see God as male, and we refer to him as him, and we never see it. You know, it's representation. You want to see yourself reflected in the divine, and I think that there's a great gap there, and it hasn't always been that way. And if you look back, the earth was perceived as female. You know, the great goddess, the creatrix, was perceived as female. In some traditions, the God of the Bible is her spoiled and unruly son. So I don't know. It's just needed. We need it. We need to have an image of the divine that looks like us.
I also feel like there's so much in magic that is linked to the sacred feminine. It is the magic of creation. It's the magic of nurturing. It's the magic of healing. And those have traditionally been the province of the female side of, our dualistic approach to life. And it sort of allows us to not only balance that which is aggressive and outward and sometimes more warring, but also to show the strength of what those internal ideas are as well. So I feel like it gives a voice to something that a lot of times isn't heard because it's so quiet, and yet it's still so powerful. So I feel like
and I feel like religion is sort of conscripted power and authority in the spiritual realm for itself anyway. And witchcraft, or whatever you want to call, paganism, I mean, if you think about it, women tended to be healers back in the day. We gather the herbs, we make the tonics, and even now they're doing studies. Female surgeons have almost 150% more survivability than a male surgeon.
Yeah, I read that too.
Women are just kind of better at this sort of thing. And I believe that, this is all personal conjecture, complete opinion. I have nothing to back this up. But I truly believe that women, if there is any kind of we're supposed to be sort of the spiritual, ecumenical, mental, emotional leaders of humanity, and men were supposed to build our fences and our houses and give us you know what I'm saying? They were like in nature, the men tend to do the wooing and the homemaking and the hunting and the protecting, and if they want to do that, that's utilitarian of them to do that. And I really feel like women are supposed to be sort of we hold the powers of power. I don't know what creation, you know what I mean? We have a portal in our body from unlife to life. I know that that's sort of cliche, but it's not untrue. So I truly have a feeling that women have a closer, just by what we are. And I have to stop here and talk about, I guess, trans women and non-binary people as well. I think oftentimes they're even more connected to the everything, to the all things. And that can be really complicated and cause suffering, but it can also be very beautiful and very powerful. And that's another thing that really makes me sort of lean toward belief,
I love it. I love it. All right, now I've got a little bit lighter question for you. If we were looking at a neighbor has just moved in next door and they have magic and they have a kind of magic that you don't currently possess, what skills would you want to add to your arsenal of magic if you could choose one? Cynthia, I think I'm going to pick on you first.
Okay. What skills?
Skills
This
or
is,
abilities or sensitivities.
yeah, yeah. Um, God, this I thought I had an answer prepared, but like while you're describing it, it's interesting because I actually did just move into a witchy little cottage on the edge of the woods.
Love this.
Yes, it's surrounded by all manner of woodland creature. I would absolutely love to have the ability to directly communicate with animals.
Ooh.
They're such a huge part of my personal practice. They are, there's something very healing about their presence. And whether it's the family of deer, whether it's the little foxes, I actually I have two raccoons that live in my attic part time.
Oh
So I have
no.
a I sometimes I would politely like to be able to ask them if we could observe some regular hours in terms of sleep and eating and hardcore skittering and mosh pitting above my roof. So the ability to maybe have, just a direct conversation with them would be really helpful in that respect.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I think for me, it's would be a clarity of a very specific sort. I actually work with people in my tarot practice and I channel their guides, which is great because a lot of people are like, well, what does my guide look like and what's their name? And of course, for me, it comes through only as energy. I'd love to be able to see what the how the guide would like to present themselves as opposed to just as
Mhm.
straight up energy.
Yeah.
It always works. People are like, well, is it okay if I just pray? I'm like, yes, it is. That would be the OG way of going about this. So this is no problem. But it's the full gamut of all the things that you can do and all the ways that you can connect. And so I think I would love to be able to actually see the physical manifestation of guides as they would like to be seen by the people that they're connecting with on this side. Oh, what about you, Kerrigan?
I think, I mean, I was going to say, and I always say when it comes to superpowers or magic, I would love to speak all languages or to understand all languages.
Oh.
And kind of to expand on Cynthia's, like, also animals would be awesome. Stealing that one. But it's very much like I would love to never be confused by anybody, just to be able to understand what anybody's saying at any time. That would be amazing.
That. And I
Um,
love that specific approach to it. That's really cool. What about you, Maggie?
I want to grow shit. I've been trying to grow
Whoa!
shit. I'm a vegan. I live on practically greens. I'm eating 6, 7 servings of greens a day. I love my greens. I want to be able to grow them. I grow my own greens and I've been trying and I used to grow stuff, but geez, this year and last year I just haven't had any luck at all. I've got pots in the windows with greens and the seeds, they just never germinate. So
you just need
I
to
want
move
to
next door to me.
yeah, really.
That's a power
I
I can give you.
She's
I'll
plant
move
power, yeah.
over. One of those fairy witches that walks through and touches the plants and they all thrive and grow and bloom. I've written characters like that, I think, in fairy tale or by magic
Mhm.
something. I have too many books. I don't know. The By Magic series has that. Anyway, that's what I'd want. I'd want that plant magic and
Right.
to talk to animals.
I know we all were like, and that, and
And
also
that.
that, because that would be
That
great.
one's the best one, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
My husband says our next dog, we're going to get the pad with the buttons where they can push
Yes.
the button for a word. And I said, we will have no peace. It's
Oh
going to
my
be
God,
play,
that's
snack,
so
play, snack,
bad.
play,
Yes.
snack, pet, love, play, snack. It's just oh,
Oh my
off
gosh.
topic.
That is great. Well, you know what? Speaking of technology, we'll wrap up with a very futuristic type question. What would you say that the character in your book that's going to be in this anthology would think about AI? I can go ahead and start with that
Please,
one.
please start for us,
That's
Jen.
no problem. No problem. I actually work a little bit with AI in one of my, oh, kitty, in one of my jobs.
That would
And
be one of the animals who I cannot speak to and probably wouldn't listen even if I tried. She does what she wants.
right, I love it. I
So,
love it. Okay, so as far as what my character would think about AI, she's already a teacher and she is working in Boston and is surrounded by college students all the time. So she is very much on the cutting edge of things that are coming, but because she is a hedge witch at heart, she really doesn't love the forward movement of technology. She wants us to get back to all the things, all the core magic of the earth. So I think she would be open to the idea of it, but very skeptical as to what it really brought to the table, other than simply as a way for a message to get communicated that might not be able to be communicated another way. So I think that's where she would net out. How about you, Maggie?
Well, personally, I've avoided it. I'm a little bit afraid of it, and I'm quite concerned about the resource consumption of it. So I don't know if I would use it unless those issues were first overcome. I try to just not use it at all. I don't even like doing Google searches because of the resource use. But my character in Mark of the Witch would love it. She's Indira Simon. She's very modern. She's very hip. She's in the city. She's an urban witch, and she'd be all about it. She would love it. She would just find it another tool.
All right, I
Now
love
you
that.
got your wand, you got your athame, you got your AI.
All right, Carrie, again, you said that your heroine was somewhat of a tech billionaire. So
Yeah,
what,
yeah. I,
so
I
what
was
would
just
you
thinking
think?
that, like, as a Gemini, I have very diametrically opposed views on this. Like, because same, I very much yearn for the time of not AI, and I also am excited about the probabilities. And I think Aaron in the book would also be feeling that, where it's like, this is another tool we can use, and how can we use it to do our good? Because plenty of people are going to be using it to do not good. Right? And also, she tends to be the one that plays with the dark magic the most often out of the four. And so she would have to watch the temptation of using it for darker means, and rely on her sisters to help her make the not dark decision.
I love it. I love it. Okay, Cynthia, what about your character?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Moira would be deeply suspicious of it. Her idea of like high tech is a place with indoor plumbing, based on the way she was raised. So, and a lot of her horror stories involve, her also very tech phobic uncles getting mangled by various motors and other things like that. Any kind of mechanized machine went terribly wrong. And I think she would be suspicious about it just because she does kind of have a suspicious nature in terms of like, what do you even know about this, right? Like what if you're wrong, and what if it isn't friendly, and what if it, like I could see her being deeply sort of suspicious of it. Like perhaps if she saw, say, if Erin or one of her other sisters were able to help her understand that, just like the use of a cell phone, there are a lot of positive benefits that it can bring, that she would be more likely to be an adopter. But it would take some convincing, I think.
Makes perfect sense.
Now that scene would be funny to write.
Oh my gosh, like AI trying to make sense of Moira-isms.
AI is the first thing that's made me feel old. I know it's supposed to make us smarter or do more things for us, but I really feel like, wait, what's happening? For the first time, I feel like I need to call my kids and be like, tell me how to use this. I don't get it. And I don't like that at all.
Questions.
I don't know if we said what Witchy Tales is. I don't think we introed ourselves, but I don't think we introed our omnibus. Witchy Tales is a collection of 3 full-length novels. One novel by Jennifer Chance is called Teaching the King, and my novel is called Mark of the Witch. And then the other novel is very unique because it has multiple authors. Will you guys tell us about that and how that worked with all of you writing one novel? That's so cool.
Sure. We all ended up taking turns each with our own sister. So I do not remember the order in the first one, other than that I had to go first. But each of us as authors, Cindy Stark, Tiffinie Helmer, Kerrigan, and I, we each wrote one sister and her love interest. So my love interest slash enemies to lovers story was the Horseman Conquest. And essentially what would happen is anytime we wrote a scene that had one of the other sisters in it, one of the other sisters' love interests, that author who owned those characters always got the final say. So we would, or like when it came to Moira, I'm sure they were all cursing me because of the dialogue, the patois that she had and her colorful sayings and them having to try to come up with them. But then when we would each edit, all four of us would edit each, go through it. And then if I wanted to change Moira's dialogue or something, a lot of times it was like clever Moira saying here, right? So I would come through, or sassy Moira insult here. And I would be like, oh yeah.
That was fun. How was it for you reading the rest of all three of our like really clumsy attempts at trying to be like, butter my ass and call me a biscuit? That's like the only thing I knew. Like, I don't know, like she was so funny. Her Southern idioms were just like hysterical, and we all tried, and it was not good. Like, I feel bad.
I would say in terms of what it was like to read it, like some were better at it than others. If I can give credit where credit is due. I feel like you and I have known each other long enough, and I've had enough of that kind of flavor at various times that you could kind of capture the soul of that. But I think that part of it was really interesting, just to kind of see like how each of us handled each other's characters. I personally developed a deep and abiding crush on Kerrigan's hero / horseman, Pestilence, which that would seem unlikely, but the cultured British, like glove wearing, like
virginal tortured, like,
gothic
from the feds, like
like Dracula, a love story vibes, right? Like when I think of Julian and that sort of like eons long, longing and isolation, and so I had fun and absolutely twisted my plot so that at one point Moira and Julian had to pretend to be in love. So it was a very it was that was one of my favorites in the series. But yeah, so it was really interesting to have 4 separate stories written by 4 different authors, but all continuing an overarching plot and storyline. So
I want a spinoff. I want a Moira spinoff called The Hillbilly and the Horseman, and I want it.
Love it.
That would be hysterical.
Yeah, that's great. And that story is Which is Which, which I didn't mention. Sorry about that. So our anthology, Witchy Tales, releases on December 23rd. It'll be only an and it'll be an Amazon exclusive, so you can get it on Kindle Unlimited if you like for no charge. And so good. Enjoy.
Absolutely. Best of Christmas presents. So
just in time for the solstice.